Okay, so we're back with the third part of the story of what happened and how we got from the old house to the new house to where we are now, sitting on this couch all chill. So if you want to, part one was how we lost the house. Part two was how we
found somewhere to land.
Yeah, found somewhere to land, and those videos are up there. I'll put a link to them, either up there at the end or down at in the comments section, or both. So if you want to watch those before you watch this one, go for it. But anyway, we found a house, but at the end of the last vlog,
August 1st, we found a house.
August 1st, and we were allowed to move in the next day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so we finished packing our storage unit. We tucked our little heads in and had some dinner, at the last night.
Last night in the old house.
Last night in the old house. We were going to move in the next day and steadily move out over the following weeks.
Right.
And so that's what the plan was.
But then things don't always go according to plan.
Things never go according to plan. That's why you have multiple plans.
Right.
We had one.
Because we were tired. We were tired, we were desperate, we didn't have time for multiple plans because we literally signed the lease in the middle of moving everything into public storage. So, yeah, we were just like...
Props to landlord for not being scared of how desperate we actually were.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to hide it.
We tried our
Maybe we
best.
did, maybe we succeeded, but...
He had to know.
He
had to know that these guys are either running from a crime or
right, because we just walk in, love it, we'll take it.
And you bribed him too.
Did I?
That was part of it. Yeah, that was part of it. Because you having monumental money from house sales were like 3 months up front.
Right, we did do that.
That's right.
That.
That's what
3
really
months
did
up front. We even sent him, like, Arash was on board with, let's send him a screenshot of my bank balance.
And so we bribed him. And see, that's what, just to run it back just a little bit, that's probably what happened to us when we were losing those houses, is other people were so desperate
right.
that they were like, 3 months of my firstborn.
Firstborn.
And we didn't have that to offer. Didn't think to offer it.
Right.
We didn't think to just play ball. And maybe that's the way to go now. Like,
maybe you gotta be desperate. I don't know.
Or not desperate, but just ahead of the curve. Not necessarily desperate. Just love the place. Screw what anybody else wants to give you. Here's what I will give you.
Right.
And
live and learn. We learned so much about all of this.
But so yes, we had a place. Spending the last night, moving in the next day.
Right.
All goes well.
And I'd taken, I think
we both
I took the day off.
We both took the day off
from work.
I told my boss, hey, moving's a bit more complicated than we anticipated. I need today off to continue to move.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be at work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And both bosses cool. We took the day off. We did not take it easy.
No.
Mind you, we did not.
No. We would finish up. Like,
we were up again at what I consider to be the crack of dawn, which is like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. And I packed up my room. I travel light. I don't have a whole lot of stuff. I didn't have a whole family's house to pack out.
Right, because I didn't just have my stuff. I had all of my mother's worldly possessions. I had all of my father's worldly possessions.
And all of your worldly possessions.
And all of mine. And the bulk of my possessions really was the library.
Right. Right. And so I packed out my stuff. I told Glenn, I was like, all right, you get busy packing up all your stuff and what we're going to need, like what you're going to need in the house. And I had my dad's truck. We still had the U-Haul. The plan was, I'm going to pack up all my stuff in my truck and go get the keys from a rash, the landlord.
Right.
Go get the keys from the landlord.
Uh-huh.
Meet him up the place. Get the keys. Get my first little light load. It was just my books, my desk setup, like my desk electronics, just little things I could fit into the back of a Silverado. Bed and stuff like that was gonna have to come later. My guitars, my laundry and clothes, bathroom stuff, all that good stuff. My small existence.
And we had the U-Haul still. We were
the U-Haul.
supposed to have turned
We stole
in the
it.
day before.
Yeah,
we stole the U-Haul.
We basically stole the U-Haul. We were tired. And we knew we were going to need it the second day. So we're like, well, why try to rent it again the second day?
They'll just charge us when we take it back for the days we had it.
Yeah, and so that was the plan. Glenn stays home, packs up his stuff, starts packing the U-Haul. I go get keys and run a light load, because anything we don't have to pack in the U-Haul, we don't have to pack in the U-Haul. Great, good. And so that's what I did. I get the keys, I unload my truck, and then I'm headed back and to help with the rest of the move.
Yeah.
And
which I don't remember, like, we were going to stay there a little while. Like, we weren't going to fully move out that day, right?
We were going to sleep at the new place.
We were going to sleep here.
Yeah, but we were not
still
going
to finish
lock it up.
Some other, like the garage.
The garage was
we were going to slowly do
yeah.
that over while we were settling in here. Beautiful plan.
Beautiful plan. And so packing the U-Haul took a lot longer with just us two.
Yeah, it did. We had the washer and dryer.
We did two.
We did. That's right.
Because we did the washer and dryer first. We did the couches. No, we did washer dryer. We did couches.
Oh, but we couldn't. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
When we get here.
Yes. Because remember we were trying to bring this couch in the sweltering heat. It was It was a scorcher when we first loaded the U-Haul on that Saturday, August 1st, with friends. It was a scorcher the second day, and we're sweating trying to carry this pleather couch in. And it's just slipping out of our hands. And
oh my gosh, yeah.
Heavy as hell. And so we're doing that in the middle of the day, just us two. Just us two guys.
Yeah.
And we're unpacking the first thing, which was this, the washer dryer, like some heavy stuff.
Right. That we moved up and stuff happened. Like the first load that we moved out. The thing that we did was that we left the dolly at the old house. We didn't have it when we got here. Because we used the dolly to get the washer and dryer up on the trailer, up the ramp. But when we closed up the trailer and locked everything up, we left the dolly at the house. So when we got here, we couldn't get everything off. Remember that? Because we left the washer and dryer on there.
No, we left it on there the night before because we were going to try to put it in the storage unit. We had the dolly when we moved it in here.
Not the first load.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
We did. I absolutely guarantee.
Because I know we had to because I'm getting ahead.
Yes, you're getting ahead.
But
because we left the first night when we found out we had a place. Suddenly, a lot of the stuff going into the storage unit did not have to go into the storage unit.
Right.
And that's what happened. Is we ended up leaving the washer and dryer in the U-Haul overnight because there was no. We put it back in the house. No, we didn't.
See,
we didn't.
We did. You're getting ahead. Like,
no.
I remember this. Well, let's move on. Let's leave the washer and dryer out.
Because we got. Yes, no, you're right.
I am right. I know.
We did not unpack it. Yeah, because we brought it in on the first load.
We didn't take it because we left it because we thought we were staying there. We didn't have them load that up, and that's one thing.
We left it in the U-Haul.
We left it in the house, and then we loaded it on the U-Haul the next day. The washer and dryer.
I swear we tried to put it in storage. No, because we knew we were staying. We were staying.
Exactly.
Yes, we were staying. Yes, you are correct.
So we loaded the washer and dryer the next day, but we forgot the dolly.
We forgot the dolly, so it stayed on, and we unloaded everything else we could. My bed.
Yeah. The couch is all the
Yeah, his bed, my bed.
Numerous boxes of things.
Most importantly, like the most important stuff, like laundry stuff. So we thought,
Right.
Turns out it wasn't laundry stuff in the long run. We had to go just get new laundry stuff.
Right.
It was a bunch of stuff that was in the laundry room that had nothing to do with laundry, but it was marked
Like
laundry.
Stuff that my mom had stored
Plant
in there.
food, stuff like that.
Food. I guess we could try to use that to wash clothes.
An unopened drill, like just
right.
all sorts of stuff. Gardening gloves.
Yeah.
Weird pictures that were hanging in the laundry room.
Yeah, weird pictures of cats.
But so we unloaded what we could unload,
right.
and in the scorching heat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back and we start loading up again, remembering to bring the dolly. And so we didn't get back over here, and now it's like, okay, this is it for the night. This is the plan. We're gonna.
Well, yeah, because we did 2 loads.
We did 2 loads.
The second load was late at night.
Late at night. It was like already 11. It was like already 11:30, and this guy has to be to work at 6 a.m.
Right.
And we're like, we can't do any more because we still have to bring. We have to come here, unload everything, go back, drop off the U-Haul, get in our cars, come back here.
Yeah, and we were exhausted.
And we were just going to throw our mattresses on the ground and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Work the next. Oh, I had to work, and I work from home.
Yeah.
And so what I was going to do.
So we had all your computer stuff.
We did not. We did not.
Oh, you were going to go back to the old house
to work the next day. I was basically going to go to my office because it just wasn't. It wasn't enough. There wasn't enough time.
Yeah. And we were going to. No, we were going to take the U-Haul back.
We were going to take the U-Haul back because the rest of the stuff could be done.
We already stole it for a day.
We had the dolly, we had the washer dryer, and so we were
TV.
going. We had everything.
Yeah.
Everything we needed. The rest could be loaded up into my truck over the following weeks, or if we needed to get another U-Haul another time, we could. But now it's time to work. It's time to work now. We have to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
We have a place to sleep. We have a place to live.
Yeah.
Roof over our head. Good to go. We get here.
Yeah. Like, oh my god.
It's like 11:30. We're both exhausted, and we still have a whole U-Haul to unload.
Mm-hmm.
But the end is in sight. We can see it.
We can see our beds.
I whipped that massive U-Haul into this tiny alley like a boss.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get inside.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like, have you ever seen that movie Starship Troopers?
Yeah. Starship Troopers or Alien.
Alien.
More like Aliens.
Yeah, Aliens. That's what was going on in here.
There were residents.
The house was inhabited. Like, there was the lease said no pets, probably because there were already pets.
There were many pets.
Many pets.
And they were angry too.
They were so angry. They were scary. They were roaches.
They were
giant roaches, the size of the house. Maybe not. I mean, they seemed that big. They were huge though. They were big.
They were moderately sized.
They were huge. And I was like,
this man was in a corner.
I'm like, man card, where do I burn my man card? I gotta run. No.
And I'm just trying to...
They're everywhere.
Luckily, they were not on any of my... My bed was already here, and that's what I was most concerned about. I did not want them crawling all over my bare bed.
And laying eggs in it. Like, there's no way we were going to be able to sleep here.
Instantly.
No way.
I was like,
sleep here.
Because at first I walk in, turn on the light, I didn't really notice, and I looked, and they were all
everywhere.
All over it was the kitchen is what it was. It was
the kitchen and here in the living room.
They were kind of spilled over in the kitchen, or in the living room.
No, but that's where the fight happened.
That's where the fight, because I tried to smack him.
Yeah, this dude tries to fight him.
I tried to fight him, and they tried to fight me.
They flew
at me.
Yeah, they were chasing him through the house. And
they know we're psychologically afraid of them.
Yeah, and they were attack roaches.
I grabbed
This was horrible.
They were the Ludwaffen of roaches. and
roaches are to Glenn as snakes are to Indiana Jones. It's like, I can do anything, but you throw a flying flippin' roach in my goodbye. goodbye.
You could rob
And he's,
this man with a
trying
roach.
You're trying to hit him with something. What were you trying to hit it with?
The freaking fire poker shovel, the ash shovel.
Yeah,
like
and you swing, and they're
iron.
like, "Oh yeah, come on,
Dude,
man, come at me, bro."
If it was one, it would have been fine, but there were two of them.
Yeah,
there were two of them
flying
that were like the attack
cockroaches.
dogs.
Oh god, yeah.
And meanwhile, the rest of them are like over there,
nightmares about that.
over there looking and waiting for their chance to get in on the action. And so I'm just like, all right, Glenn, you know what we have to do? We have to get the fuck out.
Leave. Yes.
Excuse my French.
Goodbye. Right.
There were a lot more of those F-bombs.
A lot more. Like, that's like the only word we could remember how to say. We were so
It might have been,
not
might have
okay
been
with
the
what we
only
wanted
word
to. Right.
that we knew. We were
It's
like
the
looking
word
at each
that
other.
had many nuanced meanings.
We were looking at each other like F,
one,
F,
one word.
It was a very expressive word that
It
evening.
really was.
And me, I'm thinking none of my stuff can be here in the House of Horrors.
Right, like I'm like
I
he's
had-
like, all right, we have to move out now. Like
Yeah.
just everything goes back.
But
on
I
the
had my
trailer.
bags of laundry. I did not want my bags of laundry. I had
Right.
my bed. I had my guitars. And the guitars, not so much the critters, but so much that I had guitars in an unsupervised home that I still wasn't sure of the security of.
Right, they'd have stolen them, taken them to a thrift store. They'd have started a band.
Yeah.
They'd come back, the Roaches have a band.
Yeah.
I don't
But no. So I'm like, God, I moved everything in here. Now we have to get everything out because most of your stuff was still in the U-Haul.
Yeah, right.
Your bed we ended up we didn't bring it until the second trip. Your bed we did not bring to the second
when we
trip.
knew for sure we'd be able to sleep here, so
Right.
we thought. So we thought.
And so now it's 11:30 and Glenn and I are Three Stoogesing throughout this whole house because we're trying to avoid the concentration of the kitchen, which is the way to the garage, which is the way to the U-Haul in the back. But we have to get my queen size mattress out of this place.
Right. Oh god.
And so
we have to go back in for it. Just
yeah. I was like, yes, Glenn. Yes, we do. I was like, yes. Assholes and elbows. Let's move.
like no, we have to burn it down. We have to burn the house down. We can't let those things get out into the world.
I had to mother kitten collar this boy to get him to come back into this place. He just goes limp as I bring him back.
Like no.
And I'm like, close your eyes, grab these 6 things, and run.
And we did. We ran.
Yes. With roaches crunching under our feet on the way out.
Doom. Yes.
and they're like yelling racial slurs at us and like hopping at us and like, yeah, back the way you came, and oh my god.
Yeah, they won that round. They
round.
Absolutely won.
Yeah, that was.
They kicked our asses. We were done.
They did to the French what the Germans did, and like we were the French in that situation.
Yeah, pretty much.
But now, I'm screaming F-bombs on the way back to... that's all I could say. He's still in the fetal position, shaking.
Right.
I'm driving the fully packed U-Haul. And we spent 4 hours packing. And now we have to go back home.
And steal the U-Haul again for another night.
And unpack it. And we gotta go to work. We've gotta go to work the next day. And it's now midnight. It was later than that.
So I don't think we did steal the U-Haul because I think we had to unload it again
and take it back
that night.
Because we couldn't do it we'd have to steal it for a third day for no reason.
Right, exactly. So we did.
I am
we
screaming
took it, and I'm like
F-bombs all the way home. I was like, this is ridiculous. I hate this. I hate everything.
Yeah, you were like, we need to tear up the leaves. I'm like, we can't tear up the leaves. You realize how hard it was, how impossible it is that we got in place.
I was like, this That, like, it sounded like an episode of The Osbournes. Like, all the way home, I am pissed.
Yeah.
Because it's late, I'm tired.
Exhausting. And you just got beat up by some roaches.
Yes, and I'm thinking this is the place I have to live.
Right.
And
But I had a little more experience with like things like that, like taming, like in apartments, you know. So my thinking was, this sucks right now, but we can conquer roaches.
And I'm like,
I was furious that we had to.
Yeah.
Because that was not disclosed.
We paid 3 months worth of rent already.
3 months, yeah.
And God, and I'm just thinking about what's ahead of me. Just right now, in the moment, what's ahead of me right now is we have to go back to this house. Back to the place we came from.
Yeah.
The house we had sold. And we have to unload the whole U-Haul.
Yeah.
And then we have to, just us, just me and him, like,
exhausted boys.
And some of this stuff was
coming back
heavy.
from the war.
It wasn't piano much.
But washer and dryer.
And full filing cabinets.
Yeah.
And
boxes. Just there was so much.
So much. My back was killing me.
Same. Like everything was killing
Everything.
me.
Oh, we both had the sweaty ass.
Yeah,
we were getting sweaty ass chaps. Yeah. You know, like the preparation H was not going to be enough.
We were gonna take baths in it.
Yes.
Didn't do it.
Yeah, and dude, and so I am the most PO'd I've been in a very long time. And it's now 1:30 in the morning, and we're still like halfway done with unloading the U-Haul. We're both starving. We haven't eaten in like 8 hours at least. Because we had delivery Mexican food again for the second day in a row because we had no kitchenware.
No.
We had no kitchenware. It was all packed. It was all packed. And we had no place. We were moved out of one place and not moved into another.
Yeah, we were in limbo. We were in hell.
We were in hell. This is
that's where we
from hell.
Remain.
That's where we officially dubbed this.
Exactly.
First day of the move, we dubbed it the move from hell. And
oh my god.
I'm so tired. And
like it took us forever because then after we got it unloaded, we had to go to the U-Haul place,
which wasn't far.
It wasn't. No, that was at least right by the old house, like just around the corner. But
it's
we
also
were so tired.
It's also Dumb and Dumber's first time returning a U-Haul.
Right. Yeah, and we're like, where do we put it?
Where do we
put the keys?
Yeah.
Like, we figured it out. No, we had to do that whole stupid, like, inspection
thing. Yeah, we had to do it
on the phone.
Take pictures.
God.
And God,
there
was one picture that would have been great.
To sleep.
Was, he tries to take a picture, and I'm, like, standing there pissed off. And he's trying to take this picture, and he snaps it, and he's like, does this look good? I'm like, Glenn, that's us.
Oh yeah, that's how tired we were. I had it turned the wrong way and we looked crazy.
Dude, I looked so mad. And you looked just fucking like, just exhausted. Nuts. Just like, your soul had long left you.
Right, pretty much.
And I looked like
my soul left when the roaches started flying. I was just a husk after that. I was like, and I'm going off now. I'm clearly dead.
We've
got to go.
We had been through some shit. We had seen some things, man. And yeah, it's just like we just both got back from Vietnam.
Pretty much.
Like, I became an old racist and he was shell-shocked and,
Racist against roaches.
Yeah. And so then we get back.
Like, did the roaches have names? Charlie. They were all called
Charlie, as far as I know. They came out of the trees, man.
Right!
They came out of the trees. And, and now now it's 2:30. It's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
It hurts to relive this.
We're both hungry.
Yeah.
I am exhausted. I was like, well, we got pasta and we got sauce.
Right. Right. Yeah, we had to cook dinner.
We had to cook something
because we were starving, so we still couldn't go to bed.
Right.
And I remember, like, the next day, I went to work on 0 sleep.
Yeah.
And perfectly insane. Like, my mind was broken. And this was just day 1 of we are now in the move from hell. So, oh my God.
Don't follow our example.
Right. Right. I mean, but in our defense, none of it was our fault.
Right. Some of it was
we were
mildly preventable.
Mildly. Like
we could have been more packed.
Could have maybe been more packed.
It wouldn't have stopped. What would have been worse is if we were more moved in during the day.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And then we were fully committed. U-Haul's back at the U-Haul. And we got beds in the rooms.
Right, and we didn't know. Like, if we'd gotten moved in during the day and we're all getting...
All right, good night, John Boy. Turn off all the lights and then just hear the...
don't.
The marching come forward. Yeah, that would have been worse.
Yeah.
That would have been worse. So in hindsight, parade of F-bombs on the way home, better than parade of roaches on my face at night.
Right.
And so yeah, we made pasta and I went to sleep. He did not.
Nope, because there wasn't time. Because I had to be at work
Next
hours
day,
earlier than you did.
Yes. Yes.
So, oh man, it hurt. It hurt so bad, and I was so useless. Like, I'm just still, like I mentioned in the previous video, that I was constantly afraid I was going to lose my new job because I kept having to be distracted with lawyers and real estate people on the phone. And I felt the same. Going in there, I couldn't function.
Might as well have had a tinfoil hat on.
Right, exactly. I mean, fortunately, one of my best friends is my closest coworker there. Like, we work in the same area, so he was able to kind of cover for me. Like, hide the fact that Glenn was batshit crazy and may never recover.
Yeah, he went batshit, I went apeshit.
True.
And it was all bullshit.
It was.
And, yeah. And so that was the beginning. This is going to be a long video.
Oh yeah, this is going to be...
That's
why we're breaking it into 3 episodes, because if we tried to tell this whole thing in one video, it would be Glenn's Vlog the movie.
It would have been King Kong.
Right.
It would have been Peter Jackson.
It would have been a Peter Jackson.
Yeah, it would have been Peter Jackson. And so...
Which is funny because when we were trying to break down how to do the breaks in the story for the videos, he was like, "Well, how would Peter Jackson? That's how Peter Jackson would have done it." And we break there for part 2, and then yeah, so we would have made a Peter Jackson film.
Yes,
if this is one video, but bear with us. It's a good story.
If you can't tell by how much fun we're having, right?
Right,
now.
we are laughing about the nightmare that we clearly survived.
Because, I mean...
Spoilers, we lived.
The next day, I had to do... Like, Glenn had to coach me the night before, and I tried to remember his words. Did
it make sense?
No, because you were telling me we can't tear up the lease.
Right.
We have to stay here. We have to follow through. We have to do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, because tomorrow I'm gonna fuck you.
Yeah, you were done with this house.
Dude, I was ready for a hotel room.
Right.
I was ready to spend $1,400 on a cozy hotel room. And so the next day I had to do my best to appear like I wanted this to work when I contacted the landlord
Right.
to let
After you
them
reassembled your desk and all your workstation.
reassembled, yes, and
put it back where we'd taken it.
Yes.
And we moved back in.
Yes.
To the house
Well, the desk was largely put together. They broke down my desk on Sunday, but I knew I was going to have to put it back together because remember I was going to work from home for the first day.
Oh,
work
right.
from the old house.
That's right.
Yes, so I had to put that all back together because I just had to at least had to plug in the monitors, the blah 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 blah, and the other thing we realized is that we had no utilities at the new house.
Oh yeah.
No utilities yet. No water, no gas, no electricity.
Yeah, the AC
the electricity was on. The electricity and the AC were on, but the AC
was hot.
Because the pipes were frozen on the AC.
The pipes were frozen and
Because-
the filter needed to be changed.
Yes.
That's what really finally fixed it was
Yes.
we changed the filter
And we
that unfroze the
gradually
pipes.
brought it down to temperature because it was off. If you ever are renting a house, don't turn your AC off. Turn it to 85.
Right.
In Texas, at least.
Yeah.
Because an AC unit trying to start cooling the house from 110 degrees to 72 degrees will murder your AC unit.
It will.
And if it doesn't break it, it will at least stop it from working effectively because the AC was running constantly, but it was not cooling. But anyway, so that was the other thing we realized. Neither here nor there at this point, but because I can live without AC, water, and electricity. You know what I can't live with?
Roaches.
Roaches.
Yeah, we can't live with roaches. Have we established that yet?
Yes. So I had to, as calmly as possible, let our landlord know that we had a infestation at the new place.
Infestation. That was the word.
And he was shocked.
He was like, that can't be true.
I was like, go over there at night. Go over there at night. He was like, how many? I let him know. A rough estimation of how many we saw, which means that there are at least there are 100 more for every one you see.
Yeah, there were approximately 32 billion of them in here.
Yes. And then we had a little spat. Basically, he contacted our realtor, and basically, he caught the vibe from me that I hated everything about what was happening and did not want to follow through with the lease. And I was like, damn, I thought I did my best at masking that.
Because he told her ass that he thought we were going to try to back out.
Right, and I was like, no, we are willing to work. We are willing to work. We have this place until the 26th or something. We at least have our old house to live in while it is bombed.
Yeah, nuked. It was nuclear war against the roaches.
And so I'm a little more calm. I was a little more calm. I was willing to work. And landlord was willing to work with us. I'm willing to work with them. Good deal. And so now the move from hell is sort of like the rowboat to hell. Like we were just sort of, we took like a week to like re-move back into our bare bones house.
Right, and I was shopping for straight jackets.
Yes.
But we did move back in.
Bare bones.
Yeah.
We had nothing in that house.
Nothing.
Our mattresses were on the floor. No point in putting them back together.
Right.
I mean, your bed, I think you put it back together because it was just box spring. No, because we left that here. Did we? I don't know.
No, I was just sleeping on a mattress. Yeah.
Because mine is a whole ass IKEA thing. At the time, his was the metal frame, box spring, and mattress.
Yeah.
Not as difficult as IKEA.
No, nowhere near as difficult as IKEA.
I was not putting my IKEA bed back together. And so we were living like some regular bums for a good minute there.
Yeah, we were living like squatters, which kind of we were.
We were living in someone else's house.
We were literally
free of
living
charge.
in another person's house.
And we're milking every single day that they were letting us have.
Yeah.
Until the roach situation could be solved.
And so, we had to schedule another moving day.
Yeah.
With friends.
No friends.
No, I thought
we got one friend. We had the Astons for a hot second.
Right.
No.
I'm trying to remember.
It was just Val.
Oh, right.
Just Val.
My sister came up for a day. At the very last day.
Because fast forward, because that's fast forward. That's 3 weeks from then.
Right.
3 weeks from the day of Roach Armageddon was the second day because Orkin came out here. Shout out to Orkin.
Yes.
And
our landlord, because Arash and our landlord came up here together to look at it, and landlord's eyes were open to the truth.
Because there were dead bodies everywhere.
After Orkin came,
yes, there were dead bodies everywhere.
Everywhere. And then Nick Aston and I came up after work one day, I think the day after that or something, to see if there were more bodies. And to sweep it up, that's what it is. He swept it up because I was incapable of getting that close to a roach, even indirectly touching one.
Dead.
Not a Glenn thing.
Dead roach too.
Yeah, can't do it. Still a roach. But yeah, he swept it up so that we could come back the next day and see if there were still more. And that's how we determined when it was safe to move in, was when we stopped seeing bodies.
Yep.
After cleaning it up a couple of times, I think. But Arash and our landlord came.
Landlord set up a full service team cleaning.
Yeah, once he knew it was true, he was 100%
paid for all of it.
In the war with us.
Paid for all of it.
Yeah.
Refunded us.
Right.
A month's of rent because we paid for August. Because we moved in on the 2nd and we paid for August.
But we couldn't get in.
But we couldn't get in there until August.
Almost the end of August.
Yeah. And so after a while, when we stopped seeing bodies, I was like, okay, this is manageable now. I'm satisfied. All the F-bombs I let out, sorry, universe.
Yeah, because everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, and everything was not okay. Everything was okay until that you heard glass breaking at a certain point. You can take us there, because now we're going to where the move from hell, we got to the final circle.
The deepest circle of hell.
Yes.
Right. Because,
now it's time to move in.
Right. And we had to rent U-Haul again.
Yep.
My sister, because I'm trying to pack up the garage, and I'm in nuts, as I think we've established. This whole process broke me mentally. I mean, big time. And I'm in the garage trying to pack stuff up, and it's
wait. We should because it was a 2-day event because we did Saturday, Sunday.
That's right, because
Saturday
we were trying to get it done ourselves.
Saturday was fine because we moved in. We slept here Saturday night. That was our first night here.
That's right.
What did we have U-Haul for that? Did we double up on the U-Haul again? I think we did.
I don't know. I want to say.
Did we even U-Haul?
I don't remember. We did use a U-Haul again.
We dropped it off back at your house and went back the next day.
That's right.
Yes.
The U-Haul spent the night at the old house. We spent the night here.
And because I remember this very clearly.
And I think this time we rented it for a couple of days.
Yes, we told them charge us when we bring it back. We're gonna have it for a couple days.
Yeah.
And because I remember specifically, that was not a big deal. We moved in, didn't see a roach the whole time. It was a single U-Haul's worth, including all the bed stuff, all my desk stuff, all my computer stuff, all my stuff, and I just remember. We were doing that. It was just you and me.
Yeah.
It was just you and me that night. And
washer and dryer.
Washer, dryer, and Jesus.
We're going to come back to the washer and dryer,
yes,
but let's not get ahead of ourselves. But we did get them in the house.
My last tidbit for Saturday, because Saturday was pretty easy going. It was just a hard moving. We were moving.
Yeah.
because we did not finish until about 6 a.m. Like 6 a.m. Because I remember specifically, I'm putting my bed together tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sleeping on my bed.
Yeah.
I was committed to that. Because we got here and got all the way done moving in at about 5 in the morning. And so we kind of breathed for a second.
Yeah.
Ate some Doritos for dinner breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I put my bed together and did not lay down on it until 8 a.m. The birds are chirping. The sun's up.
Hold on. Wait. Are you sure that's when...
Yes, because it was now Sunday.
But Val wasn't here
Val was
yet?
not here yet.
Okay.
Because because the plan was, now tomorrow,
That's right.
you're going to go with Val and...
Well, because that's a whole other part of it, because that day, it wasn't so... On my end, it wasn't so easy. Because I'm in there... That's when it's like I'm a broken man mentally and spiritually and stuff. Like I'm crazy.
Also important.
And like,
sorry, this is the last weekend we have. That's
right,
important to the audience.
Right. This is it. We can't, like, if we don't, whatever we do not get out of the house,
eviction.
It's gone. We're evicted, and we can't have that.
Right.
Like that would be bad.
Now, technically, we would have 3 days after the eviction is served.
But we would still have been served the eviction.
Yes.
At least I would have been on paper, which again would have wrecked me. Like, on my record, like no one's gonna rent to me.
So yes.
So like
this is last weekend.
It's incredibly stressful. And so it's like I still have this garage and attic full of my parents, all of their worldly possessions. My dad's not dead, he's just faking it. He's in Costa Rica. But I have inherited my parents' estates at this point, and they're all in the garage.
And so I'm thinking my time is pretty much done. All I gotta do is help Glenn move some boxes. This is gonna be easy peasy.
Yeah, but I'm in there. It's like you're out in the main house getting your stuff packed up and loaded up and all that.
I was done.
And
I didn't have anything left in my room.
Okay.
By the time, because all my stuff was already here, just in pieces around the house.
Yeah, and I'm like in the garage, and I'm getting stuff done, but it's getting harder and harder the more my archaeological expedition into my family history continues. Like, and my brain goes into, I realize why it's become so important to me to save everything in the garage and the attic. You know, well, there were some things that I was deliberately leaving behind, but they didn't have that kind of meaning, because what it was like my life had turned into a solid hell. And like mom's dead, dad's in Costa Rica, like my family's gone, basically. And in my brain, somewhere in my subconscious, it had turned into, these things are my family. Like, this isn't my dad's stuff. This is my dad. This isn't my mom's stuff. This is my mom. I can't abandon them. It's like, oh, and that's my grandparents. Like, that's my grandma's chair. This is, it just became like this quest to save my family that was gone. And I had a complete and total mental breakdown in the garage, and I called my sister, and I don't know how much sense I was even making on the phone, but I was crying, and I was like, I can't save them. It was crazy, man. But so my sister was gonna come up the very last day of the move and help us. So that's how that happened. I don't remember what time she got into town.
It was...
But I think everyone knew Glenn had gone by.
Because I didn't wake up. Like I said, I went to bed at 8 a.m. I'm done.
Yeah.
And so I figured easy peasy from here on out. Glenn just has to go pick out what he wants from the garage.
Yeah.
Because all Matt sees in the garage is a bunch of junk. I mean,
Right.
that's pretty much all I saw.
Yeah, and I see the souls of my ancestors
Yeah.
have to be saved.
And so, like, I'm just thinking, so while I'm sleeping, Glenn's over there, he's picking through what he wants, and then it's just gonna be
Well, and it was impossible to really even go through it because it was all boxed up. Like, I'd never really processed my mom's estate.
Right, because
We just had to get it out of the way so I'd stop living in my parents' tomb.
old, decrepit boxes.
Yeah.
You could not open them without the box disintegrating.
God, yeah.
And
Oh, it was bad.
and they were packed so horribly
Uh-huh.
that they had various things in them. Like
Yeah, you
like-
never knew what was in the
you
whether
had
it was a treasure and trash
angel
was
cake
in there
pans
together.
with scrap like like knitting stuff.
Like my
with
mother's
family
organizational
photos.
skills did not exist.
Yeah, it was
So, yeah, you couldn't just find a box that was all the family photos.
no.
Or grandma's journals, or, just
All
everything
that.
was mixed in with everything
So
else,
by
and
the
it was
time-
overwhelming.
So by the time I showed up at like 4:30 in the afternoon, because what I had to do was I figured we're done with the truck. And so I took my dad's truck back to him, I grabbed my
Right.
little car, and I showed back up at the place. I was tired. I got like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and I showed up, and there is a full garage.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, a lot of stuff had been taken out, but it was still full.
It was still full.
Like, we'd done work. Like, the night before, I did work. Even though I was losing my whole mind. And the next day, my sister and I, we worked. And that's how much stuff was in there. The souls of my ancestors, as I in my mad state saw it. But,
yeah, and then you like pink clouded the rest of the night.
pink clouded?
Yeah, it's where you go. It's like the manic high. Because
Oh, like the last night?
very
I
last
did.
night.
Because I'm like, we're going to get this done. Like, no, there was a moment where something snapped, and I'm like, no, we can do this, and here's how.
And you were
I
like
just suddenly got on
timelining.
top of it
You were-
and got on
you were
organized.
timelining, and now we
And
were,
it worked. That's
it
how we
did.
got out. Before eviction time.
It's true. It's true,
It's
but
true.
it was not easy, and
It
it
was
did not
not
adhere
easy.
to timeline. Because I remember you said we'd be done
No.
with this by 1 a.m. You said give me till this time.
No, it was maybe one step, because every step I was like,
had
look,
allotment.
we're gonna do this for an hour, then we're gonna do this for an hour, and most of it we came in under an hour. Because I was like, if we really hit it hard, it won't take us a whole hour per step, and it didn't. It took us
but
under that time.
The problem was that steps kept popping up. New steps kept popping up was the main thing. Was like, okay, so we'll be done in an hour. We'll be done with that step in the hour. It's like, well, how many more steps? Can't tell you. Is what
I
it was.
don't remember it that, because I remember it was like rooms. Like there was, let's finish this. Let's do the garage, the attic. Each gets an hour. Like
Well,
what was
well,
left
so-
in my mom's or the library.
Yeah, and then what was left
was
in the
going to give
living
an
room.
hour, and then the rest of the living room had some little things. Like everything gets an hour, and we did. We got every section done in under the time, but one of them may have been exactly under. That's why I was so happy. Like I was like gleeful because I was energized because it was working.
Right.
And it did work.
It was working.
But what the hellish part was the storm of the century.
Literally.
While we were in the middle of this and loading the U-Haul.
Literally more rain than we had had all year in one night.
Oh my god.
Because it had started drizzling a little bit around
Yeah.
like 5 because the new owners of the house came by to look at the disaster that they had purchased. It was a very nice house.
Right,
I'm
right.
just joking.
Yeah, the house was nice.
It looked like a disaster from the
house.
inside because we were ripping things out as fast as we could pick them up.
Yeah, we turned it into a disaster.
And so they came by around like 4:35.
Uh-huh.
And it was starting to drizzle a little bit. I'm like, okay, whatever. But then it got worse. and then it got worse and worse,
and worse,
and then it got
worse and worse
to the point where the smaller rooms were done, and now we're just in the garage.
Yeah.
I don't think you set a time for that one.
The garage, I did. I said an hour. We're gonna get it done in an hour.
It took more than that.
No, it didn't.
I swear to
God. Because once
we
we were just like, we only have until whatever o'clock, like 1 o'clock, get the garage done. We did it. I mean, because I remember that very clearly.
True. Okay, so it did work, but
because
all the while I'm thinking that
we're
we're
less
loading.
overwhelmed by the whole house and only hyper focusing on one area.
That's what I was hyper focusing on is that this is all going into a U-Haul.
Yeah.
I was not happy that night.
No one was happy.
You were like making me mad by how happy you were to be doing it. That's what was like.
Because I was saying we're gonna do it, we're gonna finish.
I was like, oh, we are. I'm gonna hate every moment of it. Stop smiling, you bastard.
But it's more like the Joker smiling.
And I realize that now.
I had lost my mind. But I kind of found it, and that also was making me happy.
Yeah.
Because I had been so entirely hopeless for so long. And then suddenly I saw the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
It just charged all my batteries.
I was in the darkness. Because I was like, I don't care about Glenn's family history. What am I doing here? Like, I don't care about any of this. Like, you can lose it all. Like, I want to sleep. My bed's at home. Like, my bed's at my new home. And I was like, show me the boxes and I'll move them. Because I can't help with any of that. That was the main thing that, like, I felt helpless because I can't decide what's important to the family history or not. I'm just like, hand me the box, I'll put it in the U-Haul. Hand me the box. So that's the way, that was the process we were doing, was you were being like slamming through boxes as quick as you could and be like, important, put it there. And I'd be like, got it, and I'd move it, because now it's pouring.
Like that doesn't even do justice. It's like,
you ever seen Forrest Gump? You know, he's in Vietnam and one day it just started raining and it didn't stop. That's what it was. We had big droplets.
Yeah, we're all wearing trash bags as clothing.
I eventually did that. That was my invention.
It was brilliant.
Trash bag ponchos, which helped keep your torso and upper lower body dry. Our shoes soaked, socks soaked, pants soaked.
Yeah.
And we looked like
the trailer was soaked.
Trailer was soaked.
And like I think it was at like, oh my god, like
we didn't realize this till later, so we can get there. But yes, the trailer was backed up into the driveway on an incline.
Yeah.
And open.
So water was going there.
Into it.
And I had a box of original artwork. Like
that we later discovered.
I still haven't had the heart to open that box and see what is salvageable. Because I picked it up and just water gushed out of it when we got it here. But getting ahead of ourselves, that was my biggest heartbreak of the night.
So yes, we are in hell.
In actual hell. We were being poked by pitchforks held by devils in the rain.
It was not the fun hell.
No.
It was not horrible. It was absolutely the hell that Baptists tell you you're going to.
Right. It was a Southern Baptist
hell. It was a Southern Baptist hell. And God, I almost need another beer.
I know.
But so we get the U-Haul packed. We do get it packed.
Yup.
And now comes the Exodus.
The Exodus, yes. Biblical Exodus to get to the
new house.
Well, because we're all like we loaded the trailer, the U-Haul. We loaded all the cars. And like that's where things. Because I was driving my car. Like I don't remember what all the circumstances were, but like I drove my car here, or was it driving back from the U-Haul place somewhere along the lines?
We made 2 trips. I know that.
Okay.
We made 2 trips. Where we're talking the Exodus, this was actually our second trip. This was the final trip.
Yeah.
because we had made
Final.
2 trips with your sister.
Yeah.
We had come here with just the U-Haul, and she followed us here with some stuff in her car. We unloaded it all, packed it in the garage, and by now it's raining. It's raining. It's been raining since 4 o'clock, but it was not the worst. It was just raining. It was your typical, early, late summer, early fall shower.
Right. It was somewhat normal.
By the time we got back, it is thundering, lightning, and so now...
And the ocean is coming out of the sky.
The ocean is literally coming out of the sky. And so now, where we're getting to, the Exodus, that was the second and final trip. Everything else in the garage, they can have.
Yeah.
They can have.
Like, we left a lot of stuff.
Left a lot of stuff.
On purpose, but it was all the stuff that was intended to be left behind.
And junk furniture.
We got everything that I wanted to get out
of the attic, the garage, all the rooms. I think the only casualties for me, I left a phone charger. I think you left something. I don't remember what it was.
I don't know. I don't think I did.
Oh, that's right. No, the one thing I thought you left, you did actually get, which was your cacti.
Right. Oh, but that's
a whole other story that I was not present for, but we'll get there. Because I have a unique take on the Exodus, because I was the one driving the U-Haul.
Right. Everyone has a unique take.
Oh yeah.
Because everyone had an experience by themselves.
In this
driving in this rain. If you can call it rain. Driving in the ocean falling on us.
And it's beneath you too.
It's everywhere.
The ocean was landing into the ocean.
We are driving through the ocean to get to the new house.
I did not want to take highways. I'm thinking that's smart, right? Mm-hmm. And so I go down the pathways we've been taking the whole time. We had not been taking the U-Haul on highways because it was so loaded down, and we were so used to not driving a massive box truck.
Right.
And so I did not want to go 70 miles an hour in Dallas traffic with a fully packed U-Haul.
No.
And so I go down the main road to the main road that was going to take me to our new house. And then I noticed that I'm on a little bit of an incline, and I noticed that all the street lights at the bottom of this incline, at the intersection that I know is down there, are not working. Right. They're not flashing red or yellow or anything.
They're just off.
They're just off. The street lights are off. The only thing that I can see is a pair of flashing yellow lights with some solid red lights. I'm like, okay, there's a car that's stopped. And as I got closer and my headlights were able to illuminate what I was seeing, was a literal lake at the bottom of this incline of this main thoroughfare.
Right.
And I'm, giving in on my brakes and like slowing down as I'm approaching this. And yes, there is literally like a Nissan Altima just floating in this river on this main at the armpit of this main thoroughfare, because it goes up after that, but this was a low point in this road, and they are floating. Literally a car is floating. I'm like, well, I can't get through that. Right. And there's no other way to get there besides the highway. Right. So I've got my little, I felt like Batman and Robin, because I've got like a little sedan that's next to me. It wasn't either of y'all. Mm-hmm. Who's next to me also stopped and looking at this, wondering, what do we do? It's 2:30 in the morning. Yeah. At this point, it's 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, well, I'm turning around and like just literally like cut in front of him and use the median, like use the opening for the turn in the road and turn around, and now I'm heading back down towards the highways. And I took the highways, much safer, so much more drainage. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going 25, 30 miles an hour on the highways. So you can't see anything because the rain is just pelting your windshield at a rate faster than your fastest setting of windshield wipers can get rid of it. And it was scary. It was scary. I'm in a 4,000 pound loaded down box truck that is much larger than the car I normally drive, and a hydroplane at any moment. God, the exchange between the two highways was the scariest, because I am now hundreds of feet in the air.
Right. Oh,
and
jeez.
I don't know how fast is too fast, and I'm going very slow. I'm a snail going on this thing, but I know that if I slowed down too much,
You couldn't keep going?
I couldn't keep going.
Yeah.
Like I'd have to, give it more gas, which would cause me to hydroplane.
Right.
So I'm just trying to, and I don't want the whole thing to rock over. And God, that was terrifying, because it's a single lane that you're going on, exchanging onto these two different highways. But we finally get here. I finally get here. Glenn made it here. The
That's
other
a
one,
story too.
yeah.
Oh, wait, the other one what?
The other one did not make it here.
Val?
Yeah.
Oh, did she not?
Yeah, she didn't.
Oh, that's right.
She-
Because we were wondering what happened to her. She turned around.
She stayed right where
Cleverly.
she was.
Cleverly. She
Yeah,
did
she
not, she
has
did
better-
not brave driving through the
Better
damn
life
ocean.
instincts
Like,
than
I'm not
we
gonna
do.
drive through the Atlantic Ocean tonight. I think perhaps it's
In her brand new car.
In her new car. Yeah. So
And
like,
she still lost a hubcap.
well, it didn't get lost. Like it got all. Yeah. Her hubcap. This storm tore it to shreds. Well, because she did finally drive here. But that's
Yes.
getting ahead.
Yes,
So like,
that's only you.
yeah, that's all me. Because
Because we got here and you and I ripped apart that U-Haul.
yeah,
As fast as our
Yeah.
broken bodies would
yeah,
let
as
us.
fast as we could do it. But before, like, now's my story
Yeah.
of the exodus of driving through the ocean. So like my trek through the ocean went like this. I had my car loaded up, and I did take the freeway. And
Initially. Smart man.
initially. But like getting on the freeway, I got hit by a tsunami. Like my car was destroyed.
Oh, it must have been right there, right at the start.
Yeah,
Because I remember this.
Uh-huh.
I remember this. I'm in a big truck,
yeah,
so I didn't care. I saw it, I
Yeah.
knew what it was, and it was a ocean of
Yeah.
water.
yeah, an ocean of water. And it just hit me full force. And then it's like, okay, keep driving. And I turned out to be one of the lucky ones. Because up on the freeway, like I'm driving past the wreckage of all these other cars that are just spun out off to the side, stuck in the water, can't move. People are just sitting there. No one can drive. And like you, I'm like, I can't stop.
Yes.
I'm moving, and that is apparently a gift from God. So I have to keep moving. I cannot spit on this gift. So I kept driving, not knowing how badly my car had been damaged by what hit me.
So we get there
Yeah.
safely by the grace of all that is holy.
All the gods, the old gods and the new.
And the new.
Like, just, yeah, that's how we did it. And like, yeah, so when I pull up, like, my car is making this ungodly sound, like dragging something on the street.
Which we didn't realize what it was until the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll get there.
Yeah,
We
so
were
like,
lost.
yeah, so we got there and we unloaded everything.
This is where it gets fun.
Like, at one point, well, Val finally did,
No, she never did.
she did, because she was in
Later.
the house.
That was the first time.
The first time?
Yeah, 'cause
oh,
we-
she never came.
The second time. Because we did 2 trips. She did not trek through the torrential.
No, she did, because she drove me back to get my cactus.
Eventually. I was asleep
did I?
by then. No.
Maybe is that when I
Because-
took the U-Haul home? Maybe
No, I took the U-Haul home
Okay.
with you. Well, you took it with Val. That's what that was.
That's what
Because-
I'm saying. So I drove the U-Haul, she drove her car, or she was at the house.
Yes, she did
That's
get here,
right.
and that was around 6 a.m.
No, that is not right. She was here.
The
And
one time.
No, she was here and drove me from here back to the house, because the drive to the house was a story.
Yes.
So, because she drove me in her car, like the U-Haul was taken care of.
You're missing the.
Because Val, like, she took some furniture to the face, got a Purple Heart.
That was in the first act.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
But
you're missing the joyride through Dallas with you and me in the U-Haul.
Okay.
That's because we unloaded the U-Haul.
Oh, and then we
had to get
and then
back
you took
to
me back
Dallas.
to the house.
I took you back to the house
Where
in the
Val
U-Haul,
was.
where Val was.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
it was.
That's right.
Because we tried to get back on the highway.
Oh yeah, and it's nope.
Dude.
That highway was
flooded. It was done.
It was destroyed.
By the time we got back down to Dallas proper, where we had to get on the different interchanges to get onto the highway that leads us. I guess it doesn't matter if I say the names of the highways.
No.
Because that's just how my mind works. But we had to get back on 75 South and hit 30 East to get back to our old house. And Dallas was underwater.
Yeah.
The Dallas highways were underwater. When we got to
of Atlantis, that's what was
75 was
fine.
In Dallas. 75 was a-okay. I mean, there were cars, wrecks on the sides of the roads and stuff like that. But 75 South was fine. When I took the exit to do 75 South to 30 East, not fine. Glenn was asleep for a good portion of this.
Wait,
because you were napping
in the
U-Haul. Yeah, you were dead tired. It's 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. at this point. 3 a.m., 3:30, and on a Sunday, and I had not called out of work. I fully intended to work the next day.
Oh, same.
And so we get on the off-ramp of 75 South to get on to 30 East. And now that off-ramp, you get off of 75 South, and then it splits off into 30 West and East. Traffic, bumper to bumper. I finally get up there, the exit to 30 East is closed. It's closed.
Yeah.
And so we have to take 30 West. There's no other option. And when I finally get up there, I think you may have woken up to see it, but all of the cars that were supposed to be going on to 30 East, all of them were turned around, spun out on the thing.
I remember the carnage.
And
I think I was awake more than you thought I was. But I just appeared to be asleep, because sometimes I was. But
we were both out of words.
We were out of words. Which is, you know us, like, we're never out of words, folks.
We were out of words. I'm sitting there, neither of us have eaten.
Or slept.
I'm slamming a bag of Doritos. This is the first thing that I've eaten like almost all day. I'm just eating Doritos and vegan Doritos.
Right.
And so I'm just like, I could get through that if they let me. like that's where my mind was at. I was like, I could navigate my way through all them cars on the sides of the road, because they weren't underwater. Somebody just screwed up.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a whole lot of damage to a lot of these cars, but they were all spun out in the ditches.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them, they couldn't start, like,
they had all been driving through water.
Yeah.
And so their engines were all flooded. And so we had to take 30 West. And now I'm like, I don't know where we are. And we get on 30 West, and like the on-ramp to 30 West was not much better. Immediately a pond. And there are cars, like 4 lanes of traffic on the highway. 1 lane could get around using the shoulder to get around the pond. And that's right after we on-ramped onto 30 West. Me, I'm right behind a Jeep, and he knows what's up. He's like, all of them are using the shoulder to get around all the water. He's like, I can get through some of the water. And so I let him be my guinea pig, and I just followed him right through the water. I'm in a big old U-Haul. I'm like, we're a little higher off the ground than these other cars, with a lot more weight under us too. We can touch the bottom on this thing. And so I just followed him through, And then, but we're looking at the 30 East traffic on the opposite side of the highway. It's a parking lot. It is a parking lot. So now
parking lot in the middle of the ocean.
In the middle of the ocean. So now even if we get on 30 East by exiting, turning around, and getting back on the highway, we're not going to get back to our house. It's only from that interchange. The house was only about 4 miles away.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't get back to the house until probably 11 o'clock the next morning, or that morning.
It wasn't that late.
Well, no, if we tried getting on the highway again, because now it was like some sort of fever dream. Like I felt like I was in some sort of like bad movie, like where we're both just out of words. The rain had stopped. The rain had stopped.
But the carnage
was apparent.
Flood, like there was still.
And so like I've got the window kind of cranked, and I'm over here like puffing on the vape, like. He's got his head against the thing, kind of halfway in and out of sleep.
Yes, I was just waiting to die.
And we're just driving through downtown Dallas at 4 o'clock in the morning in a massive empty U-Haul. The work is done.
Yeah.
The work is done, and I'm just like, I'm cruising down freaking Pearl Street in the middle of downtown Dallas. Nobody's out there.
Yeah.
And just taking back roads. I never thought I'd consider downtown Dallas back roads to get back to where I'm trying to go. And we finally get back. This is where my journey ends, as far as the move from hell is concerned, because I get back to where we were from, and I hand the keys to Glenn. I'm like, Val can, because all that's left is to drop off the U-Haul and head to the new place and sleep.
Yeah, drop off the U-Haul and get the cacti to the house. That's it. And we're done.
And I drive home to the new home, and I land in bed, and I'm out in seconds.
Yes, dead.
Dead.
That's when you passed away for a little bit.
Yes.
But yeah, so then I'm at the house, just like, then at this point I'm like feeling really good, even though been through hell, but I'm like, that's it. We're just taking the cacti and the U-Haul or whatever. Because I took the U-Haul back.
And some stuff that was in Val's car.
Some stuff in Val's car. And so that's what we did. I had Val follow me up to take the U-Haul back. And then I rode back to the house with her. Wait, no, this...
Because you have to come back and get your car.
Yeah.
No, your car was here.
No, see, okay. Something is missing from this story. That's why I think... no, I think Val drove me here and we unloaded her car. No, that's not what happened.
That's not what happened. Nick got involved.
He did, because no, there was a whole... Like, Val wasn't just at the house. Like, I'm trying to remember the sequence of events.
She was there when I dropped off the U-Haul because she had to go with you to bring you back.
Yeah, but we must have done something, because there was this whole...
She didn't want the cactus.
Freeway thing was the thing that I thought was kind of funny. Because wherever it was we were driving from, dang it. Because, like, we didn't take the cacti. There must have been another load or something.
Yeah, I think there was stuff in her car.
Right, because she'd already loaded up her car.
And she went drive through the downpour.
Some stuff that she wanted to take home. And that's what we came back for, I think. Okay. Like, Val could correct it in the comments if she's watching. But, if she remembers. But, like, for whatever reason, because there was still some stuff in her car when we were taking the cacti, and that's all that was left, was the cacti. But we weren't at the house. So we must have taken a load here, and then gone back, and... Because when we were on the way back, like, See, I don't remember because she hadn't been driving with me. Because I knew what the streets were like, and she didn't. So, like, because she was like, the GPS was saying, do not get on the freeway. Obviously, it was giving us other directions.
Yeah, I gave you directions.
Because there was no
I told you the
freeway.
way I took to the house, and it was totally fine.
Yeah, and we were still using the GPS. And she was like, well, if we don't get on the freeway, it'll take forever to get there. And I'm like, no, you don't understand.
There is no freeway.
There is no freeway.
The bridge is out.
Yeah, if you do take the freeway, it will take forever for us to get there. So she takes the freeway. And I'm like, I have to go to work in like
1 hour.
an hour. Yeah.
It was like 5 a.m.
It was like
by that
5 in the morning. And so then we're on the freeway. And it takes forever to get back to the house. And then like you said, like I was pink clouding it. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Like, cause I was like, it's over, we did it, everything's good. And like, it's the first time I felt truly happy in
clouding is.
months. And so it's just flowing out. And that pissed off my sister a lot. And then like, so we get to the house and like, can't agree on how to load the cacti. And I mean, that was just not good. Because it's like
So you go back to the old house. Back to the old house, here, and then you get back.
All
to the
we
old
had
house.
to do was get the cacti, and we're done. Get the cacti, get to work. But like before we even get to the house, it like took us so long to get there that I'm having to text my boss and just say, my car has been destroyed, because I think by then we knew, because the sun had
You knew
come up.
something was wrong.
Yeah. It's like, well, the front end was basically detached.
Yes.
For one thing, and that I could see. I still didn't know it was dragging under there.
Yeah, the next day I was like, I figured it out, Glenn.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's your car's intestines have come out.
That's literally what it was.
Yeah,
Not that bad, but still pretty bad.
Yeah, it was bad. So
it would have been worse if your car's... It was basically like the car's stomach had been ripped open, but the intestines were mostly fine.
Right. But it's like, oh my god. But everything was dragging on the ground. And so, so the cacti wound up not going in my sister's car, and neither did I. And like, so I called Nick Smith, available Nick, to come and help me get the cacti, and we couldn't take them all the way back here.
For one reason or another.
Yeah, for one reason or another. I think, because I didn't want Nick to have to drive. No, but he did have to drive here.
Did.
So I don't remember what the reason was.
But you left the cacti at Nick's.
Yeah, at the other Nick's, Nick and Sarah's house.
Yeah.
So, and then
maybe it's because we didn't have water here.
Maybe.
I doubt you were thinking that clearly.
No, I don't think so.
You probably just wasn't thinking clearly.
I wasn't thinking clearly at all, but there was a reason that we just took them there and then moved on with our lives. But because he did drive me back home.
Yeah.
And
I'm just
I
asleep.
was so late for work, and I had no car, and you're asleep, and so yeah, I just went to bed after that. And Val, I guess, went home, and that was that. Like,
the move from hell.
The move from hell was accomplished. My car was destroyed. Like, it was nuts. So I mean, that was the move. And then like the aftermath was, I mean, I did have to put my car in the shop the next day and get everything fixed, and it cost a ton of money.
We had to do laundry the next day.
The laundry, see, now this is where it gets funny, like the house. When the house that we've never really gotten to get a good look at.
Yes.
Before we moved in.
Monday night.
Monday
night, Glenn's like, I have no clothes.
Yeah.
We need to do laundry. And so this house came with a washer. did not come with a dryer. And we brought a washer and dryer, wanted to use them. Landlord said, yeah, if you want to use yours, just put one in the garage. I can come and get it, or you can just leave it in here. You know, it's fine. Just put it in the garage for now and tell me if you want me to come get it. And we're like, okay, well, whoever did all the handiwork on this house spray painted everything. They used one of those industrial spray painters, or can spray paint, I hope not. It looks better than can spray paint, so I assume it's one of the industrial spray painters with the hose and everything. But they spray painted everything.
Everything.
Everything. The smoke alarm.
The smoke alarms. The doorknobs.
The mirrors. The light switches.
Everything.
Everything. And one of the things was the water hookups for the washer. And so we could not get the water hookups for the washer that was here off. And so I'm like, Glenn, until I can get somebody over here to get these off of here one way or the other, you're just going to have to use
this washer. This strange little washer.
This strange little washer. Now, it did not smell bad.
Right.
Most importantly, it did not smell bad, but it was ancient.
The house smelled bad, though.
The house did smell bad.
The house reeked, but
never figured out what it was. I think it was just bad air filter.
Probably.
Bad air filter, and whoever the previous tenants were just gross people.
Maybe. Yeah.
And so all of their gunk was on that air filter that needed to be changed desperately. And so we go to set up the washer, and we're exhausted, happy.
Yeah.
Happy, you know,
because
minor
we're
setback.
done. Like we're in the promised land.
We're in the promised land.
We got through the Exodus.
Yes. We're not worshiping golden cows.
Yet. I mean.
Yet. But we start running the washer, and like me and him are just like still exhausted. We were eating like hot dogs.
Yeah.
In the kitchen,
figuring
out how the gas stove works. Because
right.
I've used gas stoves.
I've never used a gas stove.
I've never used gas stoves that have not been used in a very long time.
Right.
And so it was a little weird because they let off a smell. I think we made chicken nuggets is what it was. Because that's what it was. I was using
vegan
an oven.
Chicken nuggets.
I was vegan chicken nuggets. But I was using a gas oven for the first time in a long time. And when you first turn on a gas oven after it hasn't been used for a while, it just straight smells like gas in your kitchen. And I was worried because gas appliances freak me out a little bit.
They freak me out.
They don't freak me out anymore. We've been using it every day.
Yeah, we're used to it now.
Yeah.
That's how we're gas people.
Yeah, we're gassy.
Gassy.
But so we're eating chicken nuggets. We're like barely talking because we're still both just exhausted.
Dead.
We're just out of words.
I'm waiting for my soul to return to my body.
I am waiting for my anger to pass.
Right.
And we're just like silently eating our vegan chicken nuggets in the kitchen. And I my head twitches a little bit. And like, I hear something. I heard drip, 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 drip. And I'm like, oh God, like that does not sound like just the water or the water filling up into the washer. That sounds like water dripping on floor. And so I go back there, and sure enough, water is like leaking from the drain hose. Yeah,
from the crappy washer that we cannot get disconnected.
And so I go to I touched the drain hose. And it comes apart.
Yeah.
And starts just spewing water into the damn laundry room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Glenn, towels, all the towels.
So all the towels.
All of
them. We had to throw them on the floor.
And
so now we have no towels. And no, we don't wash towels.
And there's water everywhere. And like I finally got whoever the jackass was that put this thing together used an extension drain tube. That was the issue. They had the drain tube, which is attached to the washer. This drain tube, it's attached to the washer. It comes out and then goes into the drain out of the house. The one that comes out of the washer is long enough to do that on its own. But for whatever goddamn reason, they had a whole ass extension tube just connected,
didn't make
not
any sense.
securely connected.
Nope.
But connected and then going and looping on the ground and going out the drain.
Absolutely no reason.
No reason. Absolutely no reason.
That's the way they had it set up.
And so no, you know what? It wasn't long enough to go out. That was the thing, is it actually wasn't. So you had to use the extension, but it's way too long. And it doesn't securely attach. So I'm holding it attached. And then I force it on there as good as I can get it. And then I let it go, and I just see it start to come up. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Glenn, hold this. And
got some duct
tape. And I came back and I just freaking used half a roll of duct tape and taped it up. But there's still all this water.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's 11:45. Walmart's closed. Target's closed. Everywhere's closed. We have no mop. Mop's in storage. And even at that mop was just one of them shitty little sponge mops. I need the whole ass mop.
Right.
And
we need a wet vac is what we need.
Yeah, we need to pump the water out of there. And so I'm like, where do you get mops? Where do you get mops?
Oh, right. You went mop shopping.
Yeah, I went mop shopping. I was like, Glenn, you have to work in the morning. Like the washer situation is solved for now. Like, run your clothes, get them in the dryer, and the dryer. We could not use the dryer.
Wait, why not? I don't remember that.
4-prong outlet into
that's
a
right.
3-prong outlet.
The power socket.
So
wouldn't
this
fit.
poor guy had to go into work in his dirty clothes.
Dirty clothes.
And
it was bad.
did you do laundry somewhere else?
No,
Or did we
I
just
couldn't.
solve it the next day?
We solved it the next day.
We solved it the next day.
Well, no, because dude came over, spray paint guy, Jackass McGee, right? Because he finally got the thing.
No, he did not. You know what we did?
Oh.
We detached it from the back of the washer and just used the old hoses that are still soldered on to the water hookups.
That's right, because that's what, like, I was at work and you were here, and you had to call our landlord. Like, those first few weeks, you were always calling the landlord.
Hey, this is wrong.
This
is wrong. Like, dude. We toyed with getting a chalkboard and doing wins and losses.
Yes, wins and losses
house.
because we're fighting the house. Like, that was our goal, was to tame the house. But it was wild. It was a wild house. It had never known the love of human touch.
No. It had been long departed from civilization.
Yeah.
But the dryer could not attach to the wall.
Right.
So even if we washed the clothes,
could
not dry them. I don't know how you did it, because I swear we did not get that done the next day.
No, it wasn't the next day. It was pretty fast.
Pretty fast?
It had to be.
It was like 2 or 3. It was like 2 days, I think.
Yeah, because I think the next day you had to call the landlord. The day after that is when he sent
Jackass
McGee. With his spray paint in a holster. What? This guy. I didn't see him.
Yeah, because
you were the one who witnessed that legend.
Yeah. And I was like, the first time he came over, I was like, I am never calling for him again. Like, I will pay for a handyman to come over. Mm-hmm. Before I let that guy come back in here and just muck the rest of this up.
Yeah.
Because when I asked him, because like, this house, it's a home now. Mm-hmm. It's a home now. But there's little quirks here and there, and like, I just noticed a lot of the handiwork around here was very shoddy. And so I just like sent out a little feeler to Jackass McGee. And I was like, oh, do you do this before? He's like, oh yeah, I did everything in here. I was like, oh, so you're the guy.
Yeah.
You're the guy that did
paint guy.
Oh, you're spray paint guy, and you're guy that doesn't know what he's doing. Mm-mm. As far as handiwork goes. You can do, like, he's capable enough to do work on his own house, not capable enough to be contracted to for outside work.
Right.
And bless his heart, you know.
Right.
Because, he had a good solution for, like, yeah, those things aren't coming off there. Well, let's just take them off the back of this washer and put them on the back of your washer. Mm-hmm. And we're like, you know what? Good freaking idea. At this point, good idea. It works. But no, we had to downgrade the dryer.
Right.
Because it had a 4-prong outlet, and the house only has a 3-prong outlet. It has it's 3-prong.
Right.
It's less safe. They stopped doing it after the 70s, and I had to go to Home Depot and buy the cord. I had to take off the back of the dryer. I'm good at doing stuff. I say that a lot. I had to take off the back of the dryer and like mess with wires and stuff, and like put this new 3-prong power cord going back in time on there, and then we had dryer and it worked, and we have dryer.
Yeah.
So that was just like, that was week 1.
Week 1, and we were discovering all of the quirks of the house, like that the hardwood floors
have gaps against the walls.
Yeah, they're not put in the best.
No, it's real wood.
They're loose some places.
Yeah.
Or there's like bubbles or something under there.
My bathroom had like a leak under the sink, and it had rotting poly board. So not plywood, but it's like that cheap poly board. Mm-hmm. The particle board is what it is.
Yeah.
And it was rotting. I had a single mushroom.
Right, there was that little mushroom.
A single mushroom.
Skinny mushroom.
And like, we fixed the leak easy enough. The leak was easy to fix. But then handyman comes over, and I'm thinking, okay, he's going to cut out the rotted poly board and then put in new wood. No, before I can even stop him, he literally takes a new piece of wood that he had measured and cut to fit underneath there, and just literally drills it in over the rotting wood. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's not how this works.
That's not how this works. You do not just sweep it under the rug.
He does. That's why his name is Jackass
That's
McGee.
why his name, and will forever be.
Will forever be. It's going to be on his tombstone. Here lies Jackass McGee. Little spray paint.
I have a list of people with the same name, ironically, in my mind, and he's the latest one. And
dang, he lives up to the moniker, because the thing outside the gate, the back gate.
No, I'm not going to blame him for that one.
I don't think sawing the bottom of the fence off is a solution when you can just use a shovel and make the ground.
No, that's not what you do. That's not. The whole fence needs to be replaced. That's the problem.
And there's a bucket of chains. There's a bucket of chains.
Random bucket of chains
in the backyard
where a dog was likely abused out there. And yeah, it weighs like 200 pounds.
Yeah, it can't be lifted. It's like overflowing with rusty chains. And the best thing, the funniest thing, I think, is the dishwasher oven situation. Where they are too close for comfort.
It's not the original oven that was in this house. That's my conclusion, is it's not the original oven that this kitchen was built around. Mm-hmm. And so, new oven goes in, and it protrudes from the counter a little bit more than the old one does. Mm-hmm. And so the place for the dishwasher is
it's like
one cabinet and then adjacent. It's perpendicular to the oven. So
it's
oven pulls out this way.
The dishwasher, here's the oven.
Yes, like oven pulls here, dishwasher pulls here. Well,
yeah. If you open the dishwasher, you hit the oven. You can't open the dishwasher all the way.
Without some skill.
We figured that out.
Oh, you can't open it all the way.
You still can't open it all the way.
You can open it enough to put dishes in and take dishes out with some effort.
With some great effort.
A little elbow grease.
Contortionism.
Yes. And so
It's like,
We've learned to live with that one.
We have.
I
get
still
the dishes
might drop
done.
an F-bomb whenever I open it.
Yeah, me too. There are days that dishwasher pisses me off. like when the bottom rack just falls to pieces when I'm trying to roll it out.
Because now you can only open it to where it's on a slope. It's like this.
Yeah, it's always
and so you can't pull the bottom rack out without it trying to roll back into the dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to pull it out, put a plate in, slide it back in. Pull it out, put a plate in, slide it back in. It doesn't stay there because it just rolls back in.
Yeah.
Ugh, what else?
So, I mean, up front, like those are the things that stand out to me.
Yeah.
Like, and you'll have seen videos of us kind of breaking it in. You'll saw us build a bed, that kind of thing. Like, I think that's all the quirks, except,
Ceiling fan in the garage.
Oh, there's one ceiling fan in this house. It's in the garage.
It's in the garage.
Why is it in the garage? No one knows.
And it does not appear to be a converted garage.
Right.
But it does.
That's the thing. It does and doesn't.
Right.
Because there's carpet in parts of it. Like
But
in the
there's
closet, it's carpeted. Why?
Right.
Nothing else is carpeted.
But then there's no other place in this house, they don't build houses without garages.
Right.
They haven't done that forever.
And the front of the house looks like there would have used to be a garage.
But there's no driveway.
There, but there's no driveway, exactly.
And there's a couple other houses down the street that look like they used to have front entry garages, and they could have had these all could have had driveways, but I'm a land surveyor, and I looked at the plat for this neighborhood. We've forever, since this neighborhood was even mapped out, forever had rear alleys.
So it's
which
not
means
converted.
It's not converted.
It's
why
just
there's a ceiling
weirdly built. Why do you put a ceiling fan in the garage?
Maybe at one point they converted the garage to a bedroom, installed a ceiling fan, added windows.
Because there are windows. There's a
AC unit. There's a window AC unit, but it's not attached to a window. It is literally just in the wall.
In the wall, yeah.
And then so maybe they converted it to a bedroom, and the city said nah.
Maybe.
Or turn it back into a garage, because cities don't let you do that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't let you do that. In a lot of places, they will not let you convert bedrooms or garages into bedrooms.
Right.
And so maybe that's what happened. They just put a ceiling fan out there. But the weird thing is that the garage door does not work unless you turn on the light. Unless you turn on the ceiling fan.
You have to turn on the light and
then the garage door works.
It's so weird.
It's a weird house. It's our house. It's our home.
And it is. It's become our home, and we're getting used to our new roommate, the knocking ghost. But
according to him.
You heard it the other day.
I guess.
You did.
I guess. It was a little weird.
It was on cue.
It was on cue.
Because you were asking me to knock on the wall to see how things, because we're trying to figure out how this house
is shaped.
Yeah. And he's like, so knock on the wall, because I said say when.
And I said, all right, go. And he didn't hear me, but I heard a knock.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, oh, that was super quiet. I'm coming back in, problem solved. These aren't shared walls. And then he's like,
what are you talking
What are you talking about? I never knocked.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you did. And you're like, no, I didn't.
I was still waiting for you to say, it's time to knock. I didn't knock. And when I called it the knocking ghost was a few weeks back. I was looking for a particular blanket in my room. Couldn't find it anywhere.
Nobody was here.
Nobody was here. He was off doing something, probably getting a tattoo.
Maybe.
But so I finally just in frustration out loud, I said, where is my brown blanket? And then I heard, and I turned in the direction of the knock, and there's my brown blanket. And I'm like, thank you. What do you say? What do you do? And I told Matt, we have a ghost.
Yeah. And he's constantly asking if, I'll be out somewhere and he's like, was that you in a text?
Or the ghost. Was that you or the ghost?
And I was like, I am not at home.
Yeah. The other night was the worst of that. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just get under my covers and wait for Matt to get home and fight the ghost, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so Quirky House.
Quirky House, it's our home.
It's home.
We've thrown several parties here.
We have, like,
Successful.
we've really made it nice, I think. Despite all the quirks, despite Jackass McGee, despite
the move from hell,
we've made this our home.
Yeah.
So
we're here.
yeah,
This is
And
your
that-
first-hand account.
yeah, and that is how we got here.
That is how we got here. Sorry for the 2-hour video.
like, yeah, I don't know how long this
This
video
was Return
is.
of the King.
It was the
And our
epic
Peter
conclusion
Jackson
to the trilogy.
Yes. Because yes, I get compliments on this place.
Right? Yeah, people love it.
People come over. People want to come over,
Yeah.
and they didn't see what we saw.
Right. They weren't here
They weren't here.
at the birth of this home.
The birth of this home.
When we had to kick out the roach tenants.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. But it's fun. Like, I'm glad that we can look back at it with laughter.
Yes.
That shows how far we have come.
Yes.
In a very, like, this year seems so long because we have different lives than we had a year ago.
Absolutely.
Completely.
Yeah. I just wanted to move out of my parents' place.
Right. You
And
didn't know what you were
I
signing up
did not
for.
know what I was signing up for. I did not know. Oh man. But I learned so much. And
Yeah.
I'm a big no regrets guy.
Right.
And I would not have learned as much as I did if I had not gone through all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. We have all the knowledge about
How to get
like
places,
renting and buying houses.
Yeah. Get a realtor.
Get a realtor.
You don't pay
immediately.
them. You don't pay them.
Yeah, the landlord pays.
Landlord pays them.
Mm-hmm. That's how it's supposed to go.
Yep.
So if you don't have that deal, get a different realtor.
If you're selling a house, you
Or-
pay the landlord.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you pay the realtor. But yeah.
But we did it, and
We did it.
I literally couldn't have survived it without you.
Hey.
So wouldn't be here. I don't know. I'd just be wandering the streets, eating my hair,
Probably.
and fighting off the rats and owls that live in it.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'd be if I was anywhere. So, yeah. So we're a good team. This is a good home.
Happy conclusion.
Happy ending. Yeah.
This house not bad.
No.
We still gotta fight a couple things, but it's us. It's not the house.
Right. There's just
It's
stuff
us.
that needs to still be
Stuff
done.
that needs to be done to
But-
make it more into a home.
Yeah.
Our walls are bare. We need to put up art and decorations,
curtains.
curtains in certain places, and
A couple rugs, maybe.
couple rugs maybe. It's very echoey in
Very
here.
echoey.
I don't think it came out too much in the videos that I saw you editing.
Okay.
that I listened to.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. But yeah, if you watched this whole epic trilogy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else to add?
No.
Alright, me neither. I mean, ridiculous it would be to add anything
Add any
else
more?
at this
No.
point. So, yeah, so this is where we're at. And yeah, if you like this video, if you like my channel, like, share, subscribe. Helps me feel famous, helps me battle the YouTube algorithm. You can check out my website, glennslade-clarkjr.com, if you want to read my novels, or check out the podcast that Matt and I do called Autodidactica that goes up every 1 or 2 Thursdays. Right now it's weekly.
Right.
It's gonna go back to bi-weekly probably. I don't know, we might just
We
keep
started it
having
before the move from hell.
Yeah, we did start it before the move from hell. Had to go on a long hiatus while we figured this out, but it's up and running again.
That.
So all the links are there on my website. Links to those things will also be in the description down below. So that's the story. That's what happened.
Cheers.
Cheers.